Alright, where the hell is the light bleed coming from then? Like, for reals. Like, where is the light bleed? Is it coming from above, or below, or what? So let's just cancel out below. Just be like, there's nothing below us. Hello, Karakan. Yes, I'm still at it. I'm trying to figure out this refraction stuff. Yeah, good morning. It is 12:05 a.m. It was 3 a.m. Yeah. Well, it may be that this Fresnel effect that we have on this is not what we want, right? Like, there's a reason why I don't like to use a whole bunch of crap here for the refraction. So the refraction takes in a texture value that simulates the index of refraction on the surface. Why don't we just take this material and shove our value right into it, and just see what the hell happens. You know, just like bam. Okay, let's just say 1.5. See what it looks like. Yeah, basically what we've been working on is this waterfall, trying to get it to look like the waterfall in this picture. And we got it so that our object curves like it should, like it curves inward. We can control that with math and all that stuff properly. So now we're trying to get this refraction. So this is a refraction of 1.5. So this is refraction of 0. I think it has a lot to do with the normals. The normal map here is probably screwing us over. So I'm going to try having a separate normal map here. Don't tell me you were still pending. Oh yeah, I was still pending, so I like resubmitted the emote stuff. That was before I started streaming today. Been over a week. I don't know. Alright, so I'm gonna take this waterfall and we're gonna mess with these normals a little bit. I'm gonna call this the normal map. And we should be able to then on our waterfall blueprint mess with it. It's not something that you would expect to have any sort of thought on it. Like there's nothing offensive. It's not like a fucking swastika or something. Just be like, oh yeah, welcome to my channel. You know, the channel of hate and rage against, well, specifically one race of people. It's like, no, it's pretty damn tame. So I don't know what it is. Alright, so we want to set a texture parameter value. Parameter name is going to be normal map. And let's actually create a variable here, which is a texture. Yeah, let's just grab our empty normal map in there. We'll throw that, and we'll see what that looks like. And we gotta compile our shaders again because that's what we do. Alright, so this is an empty normal map with a refraction amount. Oh, okay. You can start to see this. What in the hell? Alright, so there's some weird, crazy stuff going on here. Alright, yeah, so our normals were obscuring a lot of it, but it looks like really this like refraction amount needs to be pretty small, otherwise it's really kind of a crazy looking thing. Like, I guess it needs to be real subtle. Like, the amount of refraction needs to be small. You know, like even that is just real tiny. And yet it just... like 1.1. And it's like, you're looking at it, you're like, that doesn't look wrong. And then you look at it from over here, you're like, holy Jesus. Like, it's offsetting an incredible amount. Alright, so if we'll compile that out. Alright, so the normal map should be like these waterfall normals. And the refraction amount should be very small. Like this refraction is like, you know, it's all blending. It's not refracting in the same way that the refraction happens for the in Unreal. Like, this is very streaked and stuff like that, so it's like the refraction is vertical. It's all like stretched and stuff like that. It's not horizontal. So maybe I should use a different normal map. Like, this is this just water normals. Like, this blueprint just looks like trash. Can you put a motion blur on it? And a lens flare, perhaps, as well? I'm not exactly sure if there's like a pixel velocity or something like that I can throw on it. I don't see anything inside of there. Thing is, we get some really nasty light bleed there at the bottom, and that's the planar reflection grabbing stuff. Well, we don't like to, in order to make a blur, right? You have to sample the pixels that are around you. You can't do that in materials like this. That's anti-aliasing. I mean, that's not something you can really do inside of a material itself. Where'd my special, specifically placed plane go that was preventing all that light bleeding from screwing up the universe? Well, I need to figure out why these... Like, what exactly is causing this blur effect? This, like, light bleed. You know, let's put our cave inside of a box and see if, you know, anything helps here. See, what is that bullshit? Like, we're inside of a giant fucking box. How in the hell is this reflection capturing all sorts of screwed up stuff? Right? Like, there's no excuse for our reflection, you know, to be grabbing anything. I guess it's grabbing this, perhaps? So we need to like light this as not two-sided or something? Is that it? Let's see if something's messing with this that's causing us problems. You're like, what? What the fuck? That's all wrong. It's like, it's absolute trash. Why in the hell do we have these streaks here on the water? Like, it looks fine here, and then when we play it, it's when it's all sorts of screwed up. Like, what could it possibly be reflecting? I mean, we can go through all these pieces of geometry here and just say, like, you need to cast shadows. And then we'll rebuild it and see what we can do. I'm getting a little annoyed with this refraction stuff pretty much just being broken in Unreal. Yeah, like, come on. What is that? And it has to do with this planar reflection. So there's going to be something doing it. It's like planar reflection. No, I mean, this just shouldn't be happening. Like, this is just... It's reflecting this thing, but it's not reflecting anything about it that's anywhere near good. Like, it's just broken. It's literally just fucking broken. So let's turn off the forward shading and see if that has anything else. You know, when in doubt, when things are broken, try changing what you're using and see if there's something else going on. I mean, it's gonna be the, you know, the sky has some stuff going on here. Yeah, see, where the fuck is that coming from? There's no light. There's no light in the entire goddamn scene. Except for the damn mushroom. Let's rebuild the lighting and see if that has any effect on this. Alright, so this reflection capture has to do something with the reflection capture itself being screwed up. Well, I have no freaking idea on this one. when I turn off the refraction completely, I mean, when I turn off the refraction completely, there's no issue. It's refraction. And it has to do with the refraction and the reflection of that refracted stuff. So I mean, I guess it might be this catching up here, but at the same time, we know it's not, because when I throw a big piece of junk in the way, it doesn't matter. You know, like, it just doesn't fucking work together at all. Just a graphics glitch? Well, it's not a glitch. It's more like it's going to be more along the lines of, like, you know, they just don't support planar reflections with, you know, this sort of operation. You know, it's just one of the things you have to magically know is like, okay, well, if you're going to do some sort of reflection stuff like this, what you have to do is, you know, not render the skybox or something else, because the skybox is going to come in and screw this all up. So, you know, basically we go to this planar reflection and we'd say, like, it's going to have hidden actors, and we're going to say hide the sky sphere. You know, but then very obviously we're not getting any of the skybox, you know, getting reflected onto the surface of this thing. Yeah, that's kind of what. Well, it's more of like, don't use planar reflections. The issue is not that the planar reflections aren't really working. The planar reflections and all that stuff would be working if it was outside. Your eye would just say, well, that's fine. That's sunlight, not a problem. Problem is, we're not fucking outside. We're inside outside. So that's a big issue. So it's that we're trying to make an inside outside scene with you know, there's going to be something else in here where it's like, okay, well, for this reflection part, maybe we're supposed to do a sphere capture or something instead of something else capture, right? So maybe there's a different way that we can actually do this and not have it get all sorts of jacked up. Hmm. Well, let's see. So maybe it has something to do. It's a surface translucency volume. Maybe it has something to do with all the rest of this. Man, I really hate it when we run into problems like this, because it's not just like a math problem that I'm having problems with. It's just like, what the hell are we supposed to do about that? It's obviously just grabbing the sky. And I think it has to do with, like, it's grabbing the sky right behind it. And I was able to kind of mess with this before, so we're gonna see if we can mess with it again. And what I did was I went over, and when I put this thing right here, I was able to solve some of these problems. But it had to be like just right, otherwise it wouldn't work. Of course, for some reason, like, when we're in the edit, when it's only when we play that we get all this weird lighting crap. So it may be that there's something that happens with static lighting with these objects, and maybe I need to go to this thing and, like, if there's anything in here that, like, maybe I can make it static. So let's see, if we make this a static object by default, we change this collision to no collision. We say don't cast a shadow, or, well, we should cast a shadow. Maybe there's something in here where only when the object is static can it get built in properly. I mean, how the hell do I know? Urgh. I mean, it definitely is happening in the editor. It's just not as easy to see it. It's going to be like something with planar reflection not working with refraction. So I'm just going to have to Google some of this. Well, perhaps it's just too much refraction. Like, I was just reading a few things, and perhaps it's just too much refraction at all. And that stuff just breaks down. And I guess it has to be, we have to use that Fresnel effect as well, otherwise we get totally fucked. Well, let's look at it. Maybe that refraction, you just can't do a whole heck of a lot with it. Maybe it has to do with the same artifacting stuff that we've seen with light bleed, where if the planes intersect, the math breaks down. Risk of Rain? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that game likes to kill everybody. Well, maybe we can rotate. I select rotate, it doesn't actually rotate anything. If we rotated it, does it do anything? Oh my god. Oh my god. It has to do with the rotation of the goddamn waterfall? Are you for real? Okay, so if the waterfall comes on straight, then we don't get any of these artifacts. Or we get very few of them. So it's definitely some artifacting going on, and it definitely has to do with math breaking down with the refraction. Oh man, that is ridiculous. Yeah, you know, like, Jesus Christ. Alright, so planar reflections do not work properly with completely vertical waterfalls intersecting them. So it's going to be the same thing with like with shadows when you have a 2D character that's standing directly on something and the shadow's not going to line up and stuff like that. Basically, it has to do with the normal of the surface and this normal here, and something where the math just goes to shit. Like, if you look straight up in games, it's not actually looking straight up. It's looking kind of, it's very close to straight up, but if it was straight up, all the math would just collapse into singularity. So usually when you look up, it'll turn you around and then look down if you have a game where you can look at 360 degrees. It does stuff like that. Alright, so let's see how much we can screw with this refraction. So I can set this up to like 200 where it was completely fucked earlier, and it's fine now without having everything completely destroyed. Alright, so we're going to remove our Fresnel effect and just plug this thing straight in again, because we don't need our Fresnel effect. Ah, why? Why is everything so difficult? Can't the universe